You see all the van life photos, you watch all the van tours, but do you wonder what this nomadic lifestyle is all about? Are you curious about life on the road? Social media calls it #vanlife. We call it home. I'll ask 10 questions to get you the stories that you want to hear from the people who live, work, and travel and adventure in this nomadic lifestyle. Welcome to Life on the Road. Welcome to another episode of Life on the Road, where I ask 10 questions to get you the stories that you want to hear from her life on the road. Welcome.
Hi.
Hi. This is amazing.
I know. I'm so excited to be here.
We have been chatting about this for a minute, longer than a minute, probably ever since the show started. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the goal was to get on your podcast, which I have now done.
You have done.
Which has been amazing.
Yep.
And I said that I would repay the favor eventually, and here we are.
And here we are.
Yeah, this worked out.
This.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how good is this
Amazing.
right here? We just finished a little paddleboard session, kind of right out there on that little lake. Yeah, it's been pretty awesome. So
yeah.
You've been camped out here for a couple days and saved me a good spot. And
yep.
Yeah, it's been pretty
awesome. It
awesome.
worked out really, really perfect.
Yeah, timing-wise, it's been great. So, and now we get to sit down and have this conversation.
No, we get to chat.
We get to chat. This is wonderful. We're here in beautiful Colorado on the $1 Million Highway near Silverton. And yeah, it's hard to get a better location than this.
Yeah, I just love this area. Yeah. It's my favorite.
It's truly special. I mean, it's this road, this side of the mountains, the San Juans, it's truly a special place.
Yeah, and this time of year too is like really, really nice.
Yeah.
We're getting some afternoon
After
thunderstorms,
we're filming this and chasing the thunderstorms right now, which we kind of feel are coming, but we couldn't resist the sunny morning and being on the lake and doing some paddleboarding. So we'll get it recorded. We're going to be good. As we always start the show, tell us who you are, how long you've been on the road, which is interesting. We'll talk about that.
Okay.
And then where you're from.
So I'm Liz Landine. I am from Las Vegas, Nevada. I have been on the road part-time for, I would say, probably about 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, and you say part-time, which, I consider you to be, a nomadic traveler no matter what. Even though you do have a home base, you are stationed and live in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
But we met on the road, and, you travel and do a fair amount of, workshops and, kind of destination teaching and all of the things. So, and you've got a tow behind camper and, a truck outfitted to be on the road. So yeah, you are nomadic in my life.
I qualify.
You qualify. Yeah. There's no qualify, disqualify, I feel like in the nomadic world.
Did I check the boxes?
Yes. No, I think you definitely check the boxes for sure.
Awesome.
So, and you and I met at a van event.
Yeah.
So the fact that you've been to van events at the end of the day, you definitely know about this lifestyle. So, and you're the one that was like, hey, I'm going to Colorado and I'm going to be camped here. Like, come hang out. Yeah. This couldn't be any more of a perfect camp spot. So this is as nomadic as it gets for sure. Let's learn about your life on the road a little bit. Right. Question 1, what was the beginning moment, cause, or inspiration to live your life on the road?
Well, okay. So let me take you back. I'll give you the backstory. So I had been working for a nonprofit for 12 years. And in 2018, so I'd been there for, I think, 10 years by then. Okay. In 2018, I decided...
This was still in Vegas?
No, I had been living in Denver.
Okay, in Denver. Okay.
Yep. And I decided I really wanted to work for myself. I just knew. I knew I wanted to work for myself. I didn't want to be tied to a desk and an office for the rest of my life. And that's really where it felt like it was heading.
Sure.
12 years flew by like that.
I imagine. Yes.
And it was time. It was time to make a change. And so I spent about a year kind of figuring out what is it I want to do? What am I good at? What kind of business would I want to build?
Sure.
And I slowly started building that.
Okay.
I gave myself a year to build that business and worked the hell out of my plan for 12 months.
Okay.
And 12 months later, I was able to exit out of my 9-to-5 and go full time into my own business. And kind of things just, you jump right into entrepreneurship. And it's like, you better have your shit together, on some level. And so I was really just head down, plowing through, building my business. And before I knew it, almost 2 years had gone by. And I was feeling really restless and dealing with a lot of just like anxiousness and all of these feelings. And I'm like, what is going on? Things started to unfold really fast. A relationship ended. I moved out of my house the same day my dog passed away. It was like all of this was happening really, really fast. And I knew I needed to make a change and slow down to really figure out what's going on here. And I realized I still had the mentality of the 9-to-5. And I was still kind of living that way on many levels in my body. I was like, okay, we gotta go. And I just slowed down enough to figure out, wow, I love being in nature. I mean, I've always done weekend trips, adventures, that kind of stuff, but I really wanted to be on the road more. I wanted to be in nature more, and I work for myself, and I can work from anywhere. And
you have that ability.
What am I waiting for?
Yeah, exactly.
So I finally, it was February of 2022. No, 2021. And I was in Joshua Tree. I'll never forget it. I was in Joshua Tree with some girlfriends, and I was obsessing over, I need a Toyota Tacoma. I gotta get a Toyota Tacoma. That's what I want. And I'll never forget it. I was being so weird and obsessive about it. And then about 24 hours before I left, I had a little come to Jesus moment with myself. And I said, Liz, let it go. Let go of the control. It'll work out how it needs to work out. And I let it go. And within 48 hours, I found the Toyota Tacoma of my dreams. That was like in my price range. It had already been built out a little bit. It was up in Salt Lake City. So within 2 days after that, I was on a flight up to Salt Lake to buy my Toyota. And shortly after that, I decided, okay, I don't want to live in my truck necessarily. I don't want, it worked. It worked fine. That's where I saw you at Open Roads Fest. I was in my truck and I loved it. But eventually I was like, okay, I want something else. With like a bathroom and all of that.
And we'll get to the camper. It's a sweet little rig. So, question 2 has been, and this is a great roll in from our conversation or meeting at Open Roads, but what has been your experience with other nomadic travelers while living your life on the road?
I've had great experiences. I mean, I'd been to like Overland Expo a few times before Open Roads Fest, and then Open Roads Fest was just so fun. I mean, that was my first real like van life community where it felt like a gathering. And everybody I met was just, super friendly. I mean, that was 2 years ago, and I'm still friends with a lot of the people I met there. I've had many of them on my podcast, and
we were just talking about Christine. You know, shout out Rugged Outdoors Woman. I'm gonna forget her episode. She's an early episode. Go back. She's an amazing human, and I think you met her there for the first time.
For the first time in person. We had been connecting online, and so it's been really. It's been a really great community to meet up with.
How did you get, because you spoke at that event.
I did.
And if people don't know, open roads. They did not have it this year. Kristen was pregnant and now has a beautiful little baby.
Yeah.
And we're hoping that open roads comes back next year. But how did you get linked up with Kristen, and what was that story?
Kristen, I had been following, I think,
Yeah.
for quite a while.
Sure.
Somebody actually introduced me to her blog because I was going to do a kayaking trip down the Black River.
Yep. Her blog is
so good.
is so good. Yeah. Barefoot Theory. We'll put a link to it in the show notes.
Yeah.
She's an OG in the outdoor van life nomadic community.
Yeah.
For sure.
So I had just been following along, and I knew I was like, I got to have her on my podcast too. But she felt a little like, it almost felt a little too like, oh, I can't reach out to her. And then eventually I did. I had her on the podcast.
Yep.
And then I knew she was doing this van festival. And I said, let me just apply to see if I can do one of the workshops.
Yeah.
And I got approved, and
nice.
that was that.
Yeah, that was an amazing. And your talk was great.
Thanks.
And, I very much related to it. And we'll get to what you do, and we'll get to the podcast here in a little bit. But yeah, the podcast is great. Thoroughly enjoyed being on your show and had that conversation. It was wonderful. So,
yeah. Good.
Question 3 is, what has been your biggest failure? What has been your biggest triumph while traveling nomadically?
Well, I feel like my biggest failure was just a few days ago.
I do kind of like this story for this failure.
It's a solid failure.
Yep. It was a good one. When you messaged this to me the other day, I was like, oh, Jesus, that's not good.
Yeah. So my failure is that my camper fell off the back of my truck.
It detached from the hitch.
It detached from the proper terminology. Would be it detached
from the hitch. Yes.
And
thank God you were steps from your campsite. Yeah.
You know, I've pulled this camper numerous times. Yeah. I really take it serious.
Yeah, of course.
I don't play around. Like, this is a big piece of machinery, and I'm not fully comfortable with pulling it yet and all of that. So I am like super slow setting up. I check, I recheck, I talk to myself the whole time. And anyhow, I drove from Durango up here to Silverton. So that's an hour drive over mountain passes. And I get on this dirt road. I'm at least a mile and a half in on a bumpy dirt road.
And that dirt road, the entry to this kind of like where we're camping, is not a smooth dirt road.
No.
It's definitely got filled with potholes, and you're going over bumps, and it's not smooth.
So it didn't happen like the first bump I hit. And then I just hit like just an average size pothole. Yeah. And
you had to have hit it just perfectly.
That's what I feel. Yeah. And so I don't know. It came off.
Completely popped the trailer off, basically the hitch, which is, again, hard to believe, but we're going to test it today.
A lot of people are going to have opinions on what happened and why. Yes. And I've gotten lots of people commenting on what they think happened. Yeah. I have had a mechanic come up to make sure the hitch and the latch is safe before I get back on the road with it. And Chad is going to make sure
we're gonna look at it today.
I hook it up today.
We're gonna hook it up today and see how it's attached. But it seems functioning correctly. I mean, I couldn't see anything wrong with it just visually. So
and can I just say, I mean, it's a failure, but it couldn't have happened at a better spot. I mean, had that happened while I was on a mountain pass,
it would have been.
It would have been a disaster.
It could have been catastrophic.
Absolutely. So it happened flat spot, right here across from where I ended up camping.
Yes, exactly.
So, I mean, I was really being looked out for.
Yeah, fortunate from that perspective for sure. Yeah. And again, too, that's where I wonder, like, I'm assuming it was attached the whole time you were traveling up here from Durango.
I feel like it was.
And I honestly think you just hit this pothole perfectly. I think it caught the bottom of the hitch. I think it just jarred it off the ball, which is kind of scary, but I think traveling on a regular road, you were having no issues.
Yeah, okay. But that's what I've come to the conclusion of as well.
Okay. So minus not losing your trailer off the back of your truck, what has been your biggest triumph while traveling nomadically?
I mean, I would say just that I'm doing it, that I, as of a year or so ago, had never pulled a trailer of any kind.
Yeah.
I bought this and then thought, holy shit. Okay, now I got to figure out what to do
with this thing. Yeah.
And I had a little bit of a freak out moment, but so just that I'm at a point now where I've gotten really comfortable with setting it up, and I'm pretty confident with, pulling it. And I'll say the biggest triumph I've probably had is the fact that I was able to back it up down a really long driveway.
Okay.
I mean, could be considered a failure. It took me about 20 minutes.
That's okay.
And I was sweating. I was really hoping none of the neighbors were watching. I just kept pulling forward. I think at one point I even went around the block again to just try
Reset
again.
Up. Yep.
I mean, it took a really, really long time, but when I got it back there.
There you go. Yeah,
it was
you felt
triumph.
pretty good. I get it. And I mean, it takes a minute to learn how to back a trailer, and understand the position of the vehicle in relation to the trailer. So I get it. I mean, I'm
still learning, but
it takes time. You just have to do it over and over and over again. And, many years of heavy construction in my background, and, I'm quite comfortable, putting vehicles in reverse, but it just takes a minute, and it just takes practice at the end of the day. So I get it. I love that. Question 4, did you start your life on the road as a single person? What is it like living or nomadically as a single person?
So I would say yes. I started my nomadic life single.
Sure.
Kind of in and out of partnership with the same person. But at that point, I think I was single.
Right.
And so I've had like some, we've done some short weekend trips together, but for the most part, the longer trips are solo.
Yeah.
And, I appreciate it because it's a small camper. It's not a lot of space.
Yeah.
I can have it set up exactly how I want it.
Exactly.
And nobody's messing with it.
You're not worried about someone else.
Right.
Yeah.
I do appreciate that part of it. But I do miss having somebody to like share the experiences
100%.
with. And also when my trailer drops, to have someone else there to like
to help you,
help me figure out what to do.
Yeah. But I think that is a overarching kind of sentiment on this show, especially specifically with this question, is a sense that like, we're fortunate to go to like these beautiful places, and you want somebody there to share that with. I mean, they're wonderful to come to these spots and like just truly immerse yourself in this wonderful Mother Nature that is behind us, which you would never have a bad time by yourself.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's just that much better when you get to share it with somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's there's ups and downs to it, but there's positive and negative, and it kind of is what it is.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. So
and then speaking of beautiful environments, best place or craziest place you've had sex during your life on the road?
Oh man, I chuckled at this
at this question. Everybody does.
So okay, I don't think it'll be too much information, but this might be my own little take on it. I mean, there's been like decent places, by the river and Zion, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if I have to think of the best place, it would probably be by myself.
Okay. Love that.
By myself.
Yes.
For my recent 46th birthday.
Yes.
I decided I was going to go to Tacoma Hot Springs in California for my birthday. I got up super early.
Nice.
Drove there and just was all by myself in the hot springs. And then you can kind of walk into the desert and there's some like, really beautiful hills and whatnot. And I just found myself like in the middle of the desert, nobody around for miles and miles.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I am in my vibe of like, today is my birthday. This is going to be an incredible year.
Yes.
I'm in nature. Like, I'm provided for, I'm guided, I'm loved.
Yeah.
Like, life is freaking good.
Yeah.
The sun was shining on me.
Yeah.
And I just had to take care of business on my own.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I mean, it's obviously like a perfect ideal setting. And then it kind of like,
it was like, how could you not?
all the stars had aligned,
Yeah.
obviously, with your birthday and you know, how you were feeling. And that's amazing. I love that. Such a good answer. Question 6, and this is maybe the one that I was most excited about to talk with you on this episode, is how do you make money while living your life on the road?
Yeah. So a couple of ways.
Yeah.
I, first and foremost, the business I have is I'm a business and life coach. And so I really help people kind of sort through all the thoughts and ideas they have going on in their head and organize it and create a strategy. So that's mostly what I do, kind of one-on-one.
Based on business and entrepreneurship.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they want to start a business or expand their business, whatever. And it overlaps, obviously, with life and all the things we want to do with life as well.
For sure.
So I work with people one-on-one in that capacity. And then I also have a community called the Playground Experience.
Yep, which we're going to talk a little bit more about in details.
So we, it's an online community for women to just get together and get out of your head, get into your heart, get into your body, and get back into just playing more and experiencing the pleasures of life.
Sure.
And to be able to do that in sisterhood with other people. So you're not in such isolation as you just play and process and all of that.
Well, I want to talk about that bridge between the two things, and then let's talk real briefly about the podcast.
Yep, and then I have the podcast.
The podcast is called The Outdoor Entrepreneur, correct?
Yep.
And like I think it's, I mean, we were chatting about it at dinner last night. I think it's incredible. I think you should expand it and keep doing it. But I know it's been kind of just like a little side project. Yeah. Yeah, basically.
Yeah, it has. It has. And I do love it. Yeah. It's really, I'm meeting the most incredible people.
Yes.
I'm having fun doing it.
Yes.
It's going well.
Yeah.
But so the podcast is the other thing I do spend, a fair amount of time on.
Yeah, absolutely.
As well. And then what else do? I dabble in real estate investing. Okay. And then I have a rental property as well in Vegas. Okay. So some other ways.
Yeah. Let's talk about, when we first met at Open Roads, you gave a talk on basically straight business. I mean, it was, how, we all make money on the road is very similar to this question. You were speaking to a lot of nomadic travelers and van lifers at that event. And it was, a discussion of, what ways you could be creative on the road in order to make money. But you've now kind of created this program called The Playground, which is getting far more into maybe the spiritual realm and more not necessarily business focused by any means, and far more personal and spiritually based. So kind of talk about that bridge between the two kind of areas.
Well, it started because that was my journey.
Sure.
I'm an entrepreneur and I'm in my head a lot.
For sure.
And what I realized was it was wreaking havoc on my body physically.
Okay.
I had headaches constantly. I was tired. I feel like maybe it was part burnout, like nervous system overload, just all of these things because I was so about my business. Yeah. And that's really where this journey started 3.5 years ago. Okay. And over the years, I've just been playing with all these different things. And a lot of them they've turned into like the spiritual side of things, the energetics of things. And I really just wanted a way to be able to share everything I've learned with others who are on this journey or on a similar journey or just starting down this path. Ooh.
I don't know if you heard that on the mic, but pretty good ripple of thunder. We've probably got about 20 minutes.
Yeah, bring it in 20 minutes.
Exactly, yes. Okay.
So it's just a way to be able to share all of that in a way that feels really easy to me, that I can do from anywhere. And just for everybody to be able to figure it out, go through it. So
we'll have all kinds of links in the show notes onto how you can get more information about the playground. And, I think, and I've kind of watched it kind of evolve from afar. And I think it's really interesting. You can see your level of excitement kind of turn from not just being straight business related and business oriented into far more about your own like personal happiness and kind of your own personal and mental and physical journey kind of. Yes, it involves business, but it involves your everyday life as well.
Yeah.
And really paying more attention to kind of like how you're feeling throughout each day and then, you know, kind of throughout, you know, whether you're building a business or whether you're traveling nomadically, it's understanding kind of your own, you know, mental well-being and your physical well-being and all those things. So it's been kind of cool to watch.
That's
from
cool.
afar.
Yeah. And I mean, I think at the end of the day, like my mantra this past year has been, the more I connect to myself, the more I connect to everything.
Sure.
And it's true.
Yeah.
And therefore life and business overlap. And so my business is doing better. My relationships are doing better. Everything's doing better.
Yeah.
The more I'm connected within myself and my own innate knowingness.
Okay.
Like that's what will bring me the answers I'm seeking.
I think it's amazing. Well, and two, I like that you're leaning into that. You know, we talked a little bit about it the other day in the sense that like we were talking about kind of some of the astrology side of certain things, and we're very similar, you know, from that regard in terms of when we were born and our birthdays.
I know how you think.
You do. We are very similar from that perspective. But yeah, no, I think it's interesting that you're turning your business side of stuff and that long time passion that you've had for business and entrepreneurship, and then spinning that into now something that you're feeling and you're really kind of discovering yourself, but then also making that and providing that almost in a sense, it's a business at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
You know, which is, I think is really kind of cool and fantastic. And to me, it's a way to just show anybody that's curious about nomadic life. There's so many different ways to kind of create a business that you're excited about.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't have to be just, you know, a 9 to 5. You can create something that you're passionate about and turn it into a business. And there's many ways to do that.
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool.
Absolutely.
Very, very cool. Question 7, what is your vehicle? Who built it? And why did you choose it to live your life on the road?
So outside of the Tacoma,
the Tacoma's rad.
Yeah.
I love the Tacoma.
Yeah.
What year is the Tacoma?
It's a 2009.
2009, okay.
Yeah, it's older.
Yeah, but it's a great rig. It's a great truck.
It is. I love it. So I bought a 2017 Jayco Flight 15-foot camper, travel trailer.
Yep.
It's the Baja edition, so it's kind of a little more clearance, I guess.
Okay.
It's a little bit more for off-road.
Gotcha.
And I love it.
Yeah.
It's like, I think it's probably one of the smallest trailers you can get.
Yeah, actually, when I first pulled up and saw it, I was like,
it's so much smaller than I thought it would be.
It's so, little tiny. But it's great, though.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's actually the perfect package with the Tacoma.
Yes.
You know, because the Tacoma's not a full-size truck, but you've got a truck camper or a covered camper on the Tacoma bed, which you could sleep in the back of that, which I know you have, and it's kind of built out for that. You know, your Tacoma's a 4-door, so it's a good size Tacoma. But I think it's like the perfect trailer size for the Tacoma. Yeah. Yeah, and for you. You know,
absolutely.
Like, it's not
I wouldn't want to be pulling anything too much bigger.
Yeah, for sure. So
not at this point, at least. And I really love small spaces. Yeah. It's like a little cocoon in there.
Oh,
I love it.
It's great. Minus maybe I'll go snap a photo so we can post it. We'll take pictures and put them of the rig for sure.
Luxurious tub.
The tub. There's a bathtub in her camper. Like,
it's a half tub.
It's not even a half tub. It might fit a 6-year-old, maybe.
Yeah.
And then only like
a small dog.
A small dog. That's what
it's for.
But why some designer said this tub is perfect, and I don't understand that. That was my first, like, when I saw the shower, I was like, what is this?
Because it takes like that much more space.
Oh yeah, it's like a foot off the ground,
and
at
so
least.
Then you're kind of like ducked while you're showering.
I would not be able to stand in there in the shower full, I'd have to kneel down. Yeah. It's a very bizarre design. I need a chair.
Just put a chair in there.
Exactly. Yeah, we'll take some photos of it. It's a very weird design. Truck campers and campers are odd sometimes. Yeah. Yes, RVs, that type of thing. Question 8, we're talking about your bathroom. What is your best bathroom? Number 1 or number 2 story from life on the road?
Chad, I don't really have one.
No crazy stories?
No, but can I tell the shower story?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So I really don't. I mean, again, I'm by myself in there.
Yeah,
for the
and
most
you have
part.
a toilet in the rig. You have
I have a
you
toilet.
have a cassette. You have a full black tank.
I do.
Yeah, you're set up.
I pee and I poop in there just fine.
You're
Nothing
good.
weird has happened yet.
No issues like dumping the black tank?
No, I've done pretty good with that. It's gotten a little messy sometimes, but now I got
Black
it really.
tanks are disgusting.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
it's gross.
They're gross.
But I got it pretty well dialed in.
Okay.
But I mean, just a bathroom story is short and sweet. I ran out of water.
Yeah.
I didn't realize. I mean, maybe I did. I kept checking the levels of the water.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't quite sure, like when it said it was getting close to E, how close that really was.
Yeah, like what that volume actually was.
So for whatever reason on that day, I decided I would take a shower and wash my hair. And so midway through, full on shampoo in the hair, which this is a lot of hair.
Yes.
The water just
gone.
That was it. Done. It was done. And I was in Silverton last year at this time, so it was cold. And thank goodness I was traveling with a girlfriend of mine who has a camper as well. And she was fully stocked with water. And I could go running over, Mary, could I please finish showering in your shower? And she graciously let me.
Of course.
That could have been really bad if I was by myself.
Bad. Yes, absolutely. No water, fully soaked up, shampoo in the hair. Yeah, that would have been rough.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
That would have been
an interesting. So I won't make that mistake again.
There you go. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, again, lesson learned. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, well, I mean, again, like you have a full composting toilet, so like no pee jug stories or anything like that. So
no.
Yeah. No emergencies like on the road, like Jesus, I gotta pull over.
I mean, I have, and honestly, I had to pee so bad this last trip, and I ran into the gas station, and they were cleaning it.
Oh, that's
and
funny.
I thought, I am going to pee my pants. And then thank God I remembered my girlfriend I traveled with last time, Mary, said, I just pee in my camper when I'm
every
traveling.
Time I fill up Althea, I pee in my van. Like I don't go inside.
It even occurred to me.
That's really funny.
So I'm pumping, I'm at the gas station, and I'm like, oh my God, I'll just go in here.
That's all I do. Like I don't ever go into the gas station anymore unless I'm, getting something to drink or something. Yeah. But I just, as it's pumping, I just go pee in my van. Yeah. It's quite easy.
Yeah, it really is.
It's very convenient. Yeah. Question 9, describe the happiest and hardest moments while living your life nomadically.
I think the happiest moments are when I'm in locations like this.
Yeah.
They're beautiful. They're, kind of remote.
Yeah.
The land is just incredible. Mm-hmm. But I really appreciate also being close to like a smaller town.
Yeah.
So this is close to Silverton, or if I'm close to Crested Butte, or, whatever it is.
Yeah. That's how you operate when you get on the road and you travel. You drop your trailer. Yeah. You have your truck. You don't have Starlink. You don't have yet. Mm-hmm. Yes, which we've been chatting about that. I think it's a must-have for you. So you do need to have maybe a small town with some connectivity adjacent, which
connectivity, like electronic wise, all of that, but also like people wise. I really thrive on, I'm introverted, I'm pretty shy, believe it or not, but I love being able to just go into town, go to the coffee shop, work for a little bit, maybe chat with some of the locals.
Yep, exactly.
I was telling you the other night there was music in the park, and there's yoga on Tuesday mornings at the library. There's a farmer's market on Tuesday morning. Like I love being able to kind of immerse myself a little bit into the local scene.
Yeah, while you're here, and again, like you're not bouncing around. You're typically trying to find a spot, making a little home, and then kind of just traveling, around the area that you're kind of home based at. Yeah, which I think is really cool. I think it's really cool. So, and this spot works out perfectly for you with, we went and had dinner in Silverton last night. It was amazing.
Beer and pizza.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Couldn't have been
then
better.
You come back to your camp spot and you're good
perfect.
To go.
What about the hardest moment? Besides losing your trailer.
Besides losing my trailer. I think the hardest moment is, I don't know that I have like one moment, but short of, again, kind of having those moments where I'm like, shit, I really wish there was somebody here with me. Like, not just anybody, but like the person,
of course.
Outside of that, I feel like it's really just around being able to be present in the moment. Like, here I am, holy shit, I am in heaven on earth.
Yeah, one of the most beautiful places you can be at.
Why am I looping on what I should be doing in my business all the time? Like, obviously, you need to work your business, you got to do the work.
Yeah.
But I did that at the coffee shop for 3 hours earlier. Now I can just relax.
Yes.
And so those are the moments where I'm like, all right, now we go back to our practices. What have we learned? You know, how do we get centered in the body? But it can take me a little while to get to that spot to catch myself and say, Liz.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Snap out of it. Yeah.
No, and, you know, and again, too, I can very much relate to this, running, you know, 3 or 4 businesses at the same time. And, you know, I feel like weekends are, you know, not weekends. I work whenever I want to work. And so it is finding that balance of when to shut it down, when to kind of let your mind go, you know, focus on this beautiful environment that we're in, you know, focus on the people that we're around, and, you know, kind of not, you know, obsessing over whatever, you know, business related issue is, you know, first and foremost on your mind. That stuff will always be there, and being able to kind of quietly sit and enjoy, you know, a space like this it's hard sometimes. It's definitely a challenge. And then question number 10, our last question, define hashtag van life. This will be an interesting thing from a non-van lifer. And then provide a piece of advice for somebody wanting to live a life on the road.
Yeah. So when I think about hashtag van life for me, again, this is from my experience, it's really what I think of as it's whatever the hell I want it to be, you know, in that moment. And if that means it's a long weekend somewhere, if that means it's a 2-week-long trip, you know, to Colorado, if that means it's a month-long, you know, whatever it is, whatever I'm feeling called to, it's honoring that. And realizing it doesn't have to look any particular way. It can just be whatever I want it to be in that moment in time.
100%.
And just going with it.
I'm curious with open roads. Because you knew it was a van event. You know, prior, did you do any research or like kind of look up, you know, what a van event kind of was, or, you know, felt like prior to going to that?
I did a little bit, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to be in the back of my truck.
Of your truck.
And it was like, you know what, like 99%, you know, vans.
Yeah, there were a couple tent campers there. There were a couple tow behinds there, but for the most part, it was 99.5%.
So I was on the
vans.
back. I was on the back side with all the other cars and tent campers and the tow behinds and stuff like that. And it was fine. I mean, I really didn't even think much of it.
Yeah, of course.
And I just, you know, when I think of it nowadays, I just think there's so many different ways you can do it.
Yes.
And that's the beauty in it. Everybody's doing it their own way.
Right. We say it all the time on the show, there's no wrong way to do van life. There's no wrong way to do nomadic travel. Like, it's whatever's personal to you. It's whatever, you know, you feel comfortable with. It's whatever you can afford. You know, all of those things are, you know, define what your nomadic travel is going to be like and look like, but there's no wrong way to do it. You know, whether you're in a Althea in some ridiculous Sprinter or you're in a tow behind camper, you know, everybody's going to accept you in this community no matter what. So,
and I think it's just a great message to keep reiterating though, just because I do think we can get really wrapped up in social media and following, you know, certain accounts, and it does start to feel like, oh, this is what it is.
Correct. Like, I have to be doing it this way. And that's not the case, you know. And, you know, again, lots of my friends have big social media followings, and they, you know, God bless them, they're living van life how they want to live it. And that's okay. And doing it their way. And, you know, I post all kinds of beautiful photos, but I'm here to say that, it's not always the case, you know,
Right.
and we took some beautiful photos today on the water, and
Yeah.
yes, this is a, you know, wonderful moment, and we get to
Yeah.
enjoy this environment, but it's not always like this. So
Yeah, and I think it will change, right? Like
For
I started with the
sure.
truck and now I have the camper. The camper isn't the end all be all.
Yeah.
I would love to have a cab over camper one day.
Yep.
Eventually I would like to have a van.
Yeah.
You know, it's just going to change over time.
Right. And I think I think that's actually something that is really nice, is like you can adjust over time. Like start in your truck,
Yeah.
get a camper, get a cab over, get a van. Like it could just be that slow transition.
Yeah.
And you know, again, there's no wrong way to do it. So,
Yeah.
and then what would you tell somebody wanting to live a life on the road?
Well, kind of along those lines of just what you had just said, like a slow transition is,
Yeah.
I feel like my advice would be to slow down and not feel like you have to rush into anything,
Yeah.
because that was me, right?
Yeah.
I am that person.
Yeah.
I need all the answers right now.
Yes.
And I want it all figured out and to be perfect right in
Yes.
this moment.
Yes.
And when I finally slowed myself down, that's when things started to really just open up and present themselves. And also slowed down enough within myself to figure out, what is it I actually really want?
Yeah.
Like, okay, I think I want this, you know, van.
Right.
But is that really what I want?
Yeah.
Or does it just seem like, you know, that's what everybody's doing?
Yeah.
So I think just really slowing down and taking the time to sit with whatever you have going on and figure out, like, what is it that you really want? What is it that's calling to you specifically that's going to light you on fire, that's going to make you feel really good? And then pursue that. And it doesn't have to be crazy drastic jumps. It can be just a couple of small steps towards that.
Yeah. I think it can be just like little weekend adventures. And it gets talked about too. A lot of advice on the show is to test different vehicles. You know, like kind of what we're talking about is like, you know, don't be afraid to go rent a van for a 2-day weekend. See how you like it. Maybe you want a truck cab over instead. You know, you can go rent that as well. You know, maybe it is a truck and a tow behind trailer. Maybe that suits your lifestyle better. Like, there's so many different options out there. You know, maybe it is building just a platform in the back of a car or a truck. Like, and, you know, you're only going to get out for like long weekends or, you know, extended trips, you know. So, you know, there's so many different options, but, you know, I think doing it very purposefully and very thoughtfully is a really good piece of advice. A lot of people just rush into it and they buy a van, and then it's like, maybe I shouldn't have bought this van, or maybe I should have done a little bit more research, or, you know, maybe this van mechanically is not great now, and now I'm dumping a bunch of money into it. So like, you know, taking the time and really like understanding like what you're getting into and how it fits into your life, which I think is what ultimately you're saying, which I actually think that's the biggest piece that people kind of don't think about. They just buy something and they're like, okay, I'll fit it in. I'll figure it out how it fits into my life. Instead of working backwards and going, okay, this is my life situation currently. What would be best suited, you know, for me in this moment? And like you said, it's going to change. Like, you know, you're already thinking about maybe something a little different down the road. But you've been on the road for a bit with this setup. You've kind of said, okay, I'd like to do this different or that different. And, you know, but you've kind of been very thoughtful about it, which, you know, I think is really, really good piece of advice for sure.
Yeah, it's not easy.
It's not.
I don't want to be thoughtful about it.
I mean,
I just want to rush forward with whatever thought I have.
Yeah, but, I mean, I did it completely different as well, in that all I cared about was the design of the van, and never gave any thought to actually what it was like to be on the road. And that was a lot of self-discovery for myself over this past year, but it was not something that I thought about prior to the actual design and build of Althea, which was I don't recommend doing that. Don't do that. And then honestly, though, it's why I created the show, because then I discovered, you know, the community, I discovered the people on the road, I discovered how wonderful, you know, it is to live on the road. And I'm now hoping to share, kind of some tidbits and some information as to what that actually looks like. So yeah, but yeah, don't do what I did at all. Yeah, take her advice. It's far, far, far better for sure. So, those are your 10 questions.
Awesome.
Super simple.
That was really fun.
Yeah, super fun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely, you were talking about your podcast and just loving doing it and loving the conversations. And it's why I'm having so much fun with this show is because of these conversations and, getting to meet such amazing people and learning a little bit about what they do and why they do it. And yeah, having so much fun doing it. So, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you.
No,
Thanks for driving over, meeting me.
Are you kidding? You saved me like literally the most perfect spot in the entire like kind of campground.
And it opened up like 3 hours before you got here.
I know.
It had been taken the whole time.
It's amazing.
So it was just meant to be.
It was meant to be, yeah. So we are going to go enjoy the rest of the day until it rains, which it sounds like rain is coming. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we will see you on the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
Ooh, I felt the drop.
It's all right. The camera's
really, really fast. Okay.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. I feel like we should have like rain jackets on the back of our chairs. Go ahead and say something.
Check. Hello.
Yep.
Hello. Welcome to Life on the Road.
We are good.
With the man, the legend. Bearded Van Life.
Yeah, I think that looks pretty good.
Can you can't hear, no, you don't have anything in your ears or anything, okay.
No, huh?
Yeah, I got to get these because sometimes I want to do in person.
So.
Is swearing allowed?
Yes. Yes.
I'm sure you edit if...
Zero
edits?
None.
Okay.
None whatsoever.
So if I have to put my sweatshirt on, I just put it on?
You just put it on.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of how it works.
Got it.
Yeah, welcome to van life.
Okay.
Nice.
Good job.
That was amazing. Thank you so much. That was great. I loved it. Super fun.
Awesome, yeah.
Like, it does help just like the levity of it.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
oh, yeah. Okay, let's just chat out here.
Yeah,
Sure.
like why not? Like
We're not in like a boardroom.
yeah, no. And usually like, even the vans are I mean, I've done some that are really funny in a sense, like Val's, we were in a fucking parking lot and like,
Right.
Silly shit like that. Actually, Jess's was maybe the most funny. We were behind a Motel 6 in like their like dump area. Like there were trash cans everywhere. It was kind of like a little trash dump. And